Hi, I'm Brian.
I'm Mahari.
Had a rough day.
I'm Michael.
I'm Kayleen.
I'm Jasmine.
I'm David.
Hi guys, I'm Rachel. Thank you for coming to my presentation. I hope you enjoy what you're about to hear. First, I'm going to start off with a little PowerPoint presentation. I hope you take advantage and enjoy what you see. While you guys are watching that, I'm going to go ahead and begin speaking. The topic of my speech is mental illness, depression, addiction, and the consequences that can evolve. I'm sure by now you have noticed how mental illnesses and addictions have become more common over the recent years. Have you seen a person passed out on the sidewalk? Have you seen anyone walking down the road staggering or talking to themselves? Have you noticed the number of people that stand on the corner holding up a sign stating that they're homeless and hungry? I know I have, and that scares me. As this speech progresses, I hope you can visualize it too. This is a problem. We can call these people bums, junkies, losers, or whatever. And the list goes on and on. But that don't matter. What we really need to realize is that they are people just like we are, and how each have their own consequences that they may be dealing with. They may be facing depression or addiction. Maybe they just lost their jobs. Maybe they lost their family. Maybe even some other mental disease altogether. They need our help now more than the stigma that surrounds them. Mental illness is a major factor within today's society. More than 50% of the population have some form of mental illness, and there are some that have not even been diagnosed. During this speech, I will briefly discuss just a few of them. Concerning approximately 5% of the population, depression is a constant feeling of sadness that can be caused by many different things. Depression is a major contributor to addiction and suicide. It needs to be treated before it's too late. We need to realize that. Approximately 750,000 people commit suicide each year, while many more attempt it. Take a couple seconds to think about what can be done to improve these numbers. To back up my statements, an article written by Louise Broadbeck, she states that most suicides are related to psychiatric disease, with depression, substance use disorders, and psychosis being the most relevant risk factors. However, anxiety, personality eating, and trauma-related disorders, as well as organic mental disorders, also contribute. That was Broadbeck in 2018. So many times, depression and anxiety go together. Anxiety is a common disorder that frequently gives a person severe worry and panic, major fear. Many people that are affected by these and other mental illnesses turn to drugs and alcohol to deal with the feelings that they have. Maybe that's because many people that suffer from mental illness cannot afford or receive the proper care and treatment that they really need. What should be done to change this? Better insurance coverage for mental health, of course. Easier accessibility to mental health care, for sure. Well, more and more medical doctors have been granted the ability to diagnose and treat some patients presenting with common mental disorders and diseases, as well as allowed to give referrals to psychiatry for those more severe. While many situations can cause mental issues, I will discuss a couple reasons that may lead to or exaggerate them. Many people turn to drugs and alcohol during COVID-19. Very many. Just to cope with the added stress and loneliness that increased during this period. More people die of overdoses when using drugs while they're also alone. This may be one factor in the rise of addictions due to the simple fact that there was less access to treatment because of the isolations that we went through. As another precursor, different forms of social media may contribute to the increase in depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. Many posts and blogs make drugs and alcohol appear to be attractive to all ages. Social media can glorify and portray bullying as the cool thing to do, which in turn can trigger mental issues such as depression or withdrawal, and can also lead to issues such as depression, suicidal ideation, loneliness, and isolation. According to the National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics in 2017, the cost of drug abuse in the U.S. was nearly $272 billion. Considering crime, healthcare needs, lost work, productivity, and other impacts that it has on society. There were over 300,000 hospitalizations and over 575,000 emergency room visits for non-fatal drug poisonings or overdoses in 2016. And that includes accidental and intentional self-harm, with most patients experiencing opioid poisoning. Drug abuse often results in comorbidity, meaning nearly 50% of persons who have substance abuse problems also have mental illness. That's according to National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics in 2020. These numbers are very alarming and have only continued to rise. If the statistical numbers don't scare you, well, they should. Mental illness and addiction are diseases with many unfavorable consequences. As I continue, think about the whole situation, the big picture. Will it end? How can I help? Job loss, family loss, and homelessness are just a few of the most serious consequences encountered. Job loss can happen because of drug use, which begins this whole cycle. Accident rates increase with substance abuse. This is why many places require drug testing prior to employment. And functioning addicts cost companies billions of dollars every year due to the high turnover, poor work quality, and increased absences, and then theft. According to Harvard Health Blog, more than 70% of individuals with alcohol or illicit drug use continue to maintain employment. As many employees with alcohol or other drug problems can continue to remain functioning. That was an article, Working on Addiction in the Workplace, 2017. Divorce and family loss is another major problem we'll discuss that's attributed to substance abuse. Many times when the problem gets so bad, the consequences are like a waterfall. You start at the top and you roll down from there. People who have issues with addictions quite often have financial troubles due to no or low income. Many severe addicts can spend upwards of 50% of their paychecks on their substance. If they do not have money for their habit, they turn to crime. Chronic drug and alcohol use can lead to increased reports of domestic violence, contribute to family separation and divorce. All these situations, as well as CFS, CPS, DFS involvement, can contribute to the loss of the family as well. It's according to Drug Abuse, Addiction, and Divorce 2020. Homelessness or poor living conditions tend to happen more often amongst addicts and mentally ill persons. Many people that do become homeless may have similar life circumstances. Many include other mental illnesses as well. Many lose their jobs, which in turn become homeless. Then they turn to crime and theft just to make ends meet. Homeless people often break into empty or abandoned houses just to get out of the elements. out of the cold, out of the heat, out of sight. This, as well as committing other crimes, can lead to jail time. Dependence on welfare due to no money, fines associated with crime and imprisonment, increased paranoia, and diseases are just a couple more negative aspects associated with these illnesses. Suicide has greatly risen, according to the CDC and NAMI, which is the National American Mental Health Institute. For more than 40,000 suicides were reported in 2020 alone. Many situations, whether temporary, short-term, or long-term, can cause suicidal ideation. So now that you have heard all this information and the alarming statistics of mental health and addictions, what can we do to help? Listening and understanding is very important. Substance users and alcoholics really need our support to get through the problems. They don't need to be rejected. As I mentioned, you can call them all sorts of names in the book. It's just, they need to talk, not rejection. We need to back them up. Therapy can help, as well as some medications to help depression or to get over the hump of withdrawal, such as Suboxone. Treatment facilities can offer short-term or long-term therapy. Other things are AA, NA, or many more of the like. As I've already said, support from family and friends is necessary for continued recovery. Many people don't fully realize the hardships that a person with mental illness has to go through. Once you've been labeled by society as crazy, or as a druggie, or as a homeless person, in many eyes, the stigmata will continue to shadow you. Many illnesses, such as depression, can lead to addiction. Addiction can lead to crime. Crime leads to homelessness, and so forth. In conclusion, we need to see that mental illness and addiction is a very big problem, and it must stop now. Even a person in recovery will have lingering effects, mostly negative. Many employers will not hire you with a major criminal record, such as drug possessions or violence. Many landlords will not rent to you with felonies on your record either. They also will want loads of money if they will rent to you. You will have a bigger deposit just in case you walk out and you don't pay your rent. So, if you're just getting back to society or have no money, it is impossible to get a home. Without a home or a job, the cycle just continues. I have just 2 more questions for you. Does it really have to continue? Will you step up and show support for recovery? Or will you just go on like normal? The choice is yours. Thank you.